Hello there. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Lori Berman. I am the Vice President of Membership and Development for the Small Business Association of Michigan. Here with us today are several speakers from the state of Michigan here to talk to you all about the new WorkShare program. We believe it's going to be an excellent tool for business owners, and we really want you to pay attention to this. You've heard us talk about this on our daily update broadcast, but now we're going to go a little in depth today with the staff that can help answer your questions as we go through this. For those of you participating today, I ask that you put your questions in the Q&A feature online. I will monitor those as we go along and we can answer your questions. Please keep your questions focused on today's WorkShare program content. If you have other questions regarding unemployment, etc., you can send those to sbam@sbam.org. That's our general helpline. Otherwise, if you keep your questions focused on today. You know that these webinars are part of a series we've been doing. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the new PPP loan forgiveness application that just came out. We have a couple guest speakers tomorrow. So let me kick off today and introduce our speakers. Today, we have Daryl Hunter. Daryl is the Director of the Michigan Unemployment Insurance Tax and Employer Services. We have Yukima Everett, who is Manager of the Office of Employer Ombudsman. And under that comes this, in the Unemployment Insurance Agency comes the WorkShare program. And special thanks to Denise Flannery, who's helped to organize this. She's with the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity as well. Thank you so much. Going to kick it off, give it to you now. I will go dark and I will pop in with questions as we go along. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks very much. Again, my name is Daryl Hunter from Tax and Employer Services from the Unemployment Insurance Agency. Today we're going to talk about this great program called WorkShare. And we're going to go over how it works. We're going to go over some of the eligibility requirements. We have a very detailed process of how the application can be processed when you want to sign up as an employer. We also have a couple of little bit information about that paycheck protection program. Is a tongue twister with that you're going to be hearing about tomorrow, but we can tell you how it works with the WorkShare program. And then we got some frequently asked questions. We want to start with a little presentation that we have regarding WorkShare.
You cut hours. Then employees collect part. We know that many Michigan businesses are faced with extremely difficult choices to make when it comes to their workforce. You don't want to lay off staff, they're like family, but what else can you do? You don't want to lose your talented workforce to another employer. The answer is the WorkShare program. The WorkShare program saves employers money and skilled workers and employees jobs. Here's how it works. Instead of cutting jobs, you cut hours. Then employees collect partial unemployment benefits for the hours they've lost. Say an employee's hours are cut temporarily by 40%. In addition to a partial paycheck, the worker will get 40% of his or her regular weekly unemployment benefits. In other words, employers save payroll and hang on to their skilled workforce, while employees keep their jobs and collect unemployment for the hours lost. Employers retain talent. Don't think of the WorkShare program as unemployment insurance. Rather, it's employment insurance, a safety net. This is a program that keeps workers employed. This is a program that shows employees that you care. This is a program that allows employers to keep their talent. The WorkShare program protects your business during the lean times. That is, until you're ready to contact Pure Michigan Talent Connect, Michigan's employment services system, to start hiring new workers. How successful has the WorkShare program been? The majority of business owners who have used it would sign up for the program again, and virtually all would recommend it to other employers. Testimonials from Michigan employers include high praise for the WorkShare program. Employers are happy to enroll again if needed. In every business, there are peaks and valleys. When you hit one of those valleys, we'll be here for you. Here's how to reach us when you're ready to get started.
Okay, so as you see, it says WorkShare is a state program that can help employers retain their employees and restart their businesses during disruptions in operation. So it's giving you a little history. Michigan received the WorkShare program back in 2015, but it was started by the Obama administration when the previous recession in the early or the late 2000s. When the recession came up, it was a program that they thought that would be good to help divert all of the unemployment that was going on at the time. So we got it in Michigan. Only about 20 states in the country have it, and Michigan just luckily happens to be one of them. And so we had it sitting on the shelf, you know, in the back. We had maybe about 30 or 40 employers last year and coming up through the time. And then all of a sudden, within a week's time, bam, all the COVID-19 issues hit. The governor started issuing the executive stay-at-home orders and whatnot. And we thought, wow, we could usually bring this program in so that we could help not have as many layoffs. Then it got to the point where we had to do the layoff, and we thought, well, how can we use the program? So what we did was we decided that we could use the program as a way to get Michigan started again. It's a perfect program for that and for employers to try to consider and using it. It allows employers to bring back and keep employees working with reduced hours, while employees collect partial unemployment benefits to make up for the portion of lost wages. It's the perfect program. The WorkShare is traditionally used the other way around, as I said, as it to avoid layoffs, but it's also to bring your production back. As Michigan restarts its economy, employers are urged to use the program to bring the employees back from unemployment. With the WorkShare program, this is how it works. An employee works fewer hours in a week, receiving a reduced salary from an employer, but it gives a percentage of that statewide benefits, but it also gives that additional $600 in FPUC money. That's the federal pandemic unemployment compensation that came through the CARES Act. Now, mind you, remember, this is only going to be good for that extra $600 with the WorkShare up until the end of July. That's one of the best benefits of it, because you can bring back your employees to work, but you can also make sure that they get that extra money. And it's a good incentive. An employer can bring back their employees at a reduced rate, and the employees could receive more money than they would during regular business hours, as I was saying. How they're working. More importantly, they will receive more money than they would if they were to remain on regular unemployment. So as the case now, if an employee makes about $17 an hour, which is about $35,000 a year, that employee would get $362 in their regular unemployment benefits, plus it's $600, which would be $962 weekly. However, with WorkShare, they're going to get a percentage of just that $362, depending on what your plan is, and we'll go into that a little bit later on. Plus, they will work their regular hours through the week that they're working for you as the employer, and then they're going to get that $600. So that's an incentive for you to bring people back to work. This allows the employer to restart their business at a reduced capacity where their employees still earn high wages. Now, here's some of the eligibility requirements for the program. The employer has to have an active UI account, and they must be what we consider a liable employer. And a liable employer, the threshold is that you have to have $1,000 in gross payroll during a quarter per person, or each person. Although I am the tax administrator, there's a couple of variations to that, but you have to be a liable, what we consider a liable employer, that you pay your unemployment taxes every quarter. The employer must be, or it can be a reimbursing employer, which means that you're a 501c3 or a government entity. Employers must obtain approval from the application to all collective bargaining units. You have to go and talk to the UAW or to whatever unions that you have that are within there to make sure that they're on board and they agree with it. and the employers participating in workshare cannot modify any of the employee's fringe benefits, which is different from if you were going to go on unemployment or use what people consider underemployment. If the person has sick leave, if they have annual leave, if you pay vacation time, you still must do that during those weeks for the individual. So an individual that's working for you may want to take a sick day during that day. That cannot be their workshare day to use. So that's a very important requirement of the program. For the employee, excuse me, for the employee, they have to have enough earned wages to meet the monetary eligibility in order to establish an unemployment claim. So that means if the employee would not regularly be able to file unemployment, then they would not be eligible for workshare. One of the expansions that we have is that the part-time employees and new employees are eligible. Usually it would be that naturally, if you're going to send someone before you're going to lay them off, you put them on layoff on workshare and have them laid off just a few hours, and then they could have workshare. But now what you can do is that you can actually hire an employee off of the street that's new to your company, and then you can put them on workshare. You can tell them, hey, listen, we got work for you to do, but we don't have it full time. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring you in for 3 days, and then we're going to lay you off for 2 days, and you'll get unemployment benefits. But remember, you tell them, but the benefit is that up until July, you're going to also get that at $600. And you can also do it for part-time employees as well. Employees on previous UI claims must discontinue their certification. So now when you're bringing someone off of unemployment and you're going to put them on workshare, they must completely discontinue their previous unemployment claim, because now they have a new claim with workshare. So you can't have two claims at the time. Some of the advantages of workshare is that it minimizes or eliminates the need for layoffs. Businesses can reduce employee work hours to reflect decreases or increases in business during any plan that they have. It enables a business to retain trained employees and avoid the expenses of recruiting, hiring, and training new employees with business approves. And as I said, that you can even use it if you want to have new people that come on. It saves a lot of money, and it keeps your skilled workforce intact. It can be used in almost any types of business or industry that we have. As I said, we can use it. You can use it if you have a nonprofit business, if it happens to be a church, if it happens to be a government office. You know, that the city of Detroit, right now, even all of our state employees are actually on it. We have 31,000 state employees that we are signing up as we speak to that, so that they could actually use workshare. Employees get to keep their fringe benefits, and employees are spared the hardship of full unemployment and receive more income. I keep saying that because it's so important that you know that they receive more income than what they would if they were totally laid off. And that's only going to be good until July 30th, 2020. The flexibility. So one of the things on that, for every employer, you can have one employer that wants to be on workshare. However, that employer can have several plans, and that's a good thing too. So let's say you want to have your secretarial plan where the secretaries are going to be on a 20%, and then you have your engineers, they're going to be on 40%, and then you have your lawyers, they're on 60%. You can do all of those between the 10% and 60%, and you can have as many plans as you want to. The only criteria is that you have to have 2 people on each one of the plans. We have companies now that is one company, but that company has 100 plans. You can imagine the city of Detroit, they have about 300 plans. And then the state of Michigan is going to be, I don't know how many plans that they're doing, but they're working it out now, but they have several plans as well. You can change your plans according to the shifts. You can change it according to the unions. You can do it however you want to as an employer. The employers have the flexibility to stop within the time frame of your approved application. The applications are going to be for 52 weeks. And in that 52 weeks, if you want to have a plan and then you just say, hey, listen, things are good, I want to terminate this plan, you can terminate the plan, and then you still are under that contract for 52 weeks. And then if a month or 2 months or 5 months later, you decide, hey, I need this work share, you just develop another plan and keep it moving. And as I said, an employer could bring back 10 employees with a 20% plan of reduction in work share, and then you can create another one for 20 employees at 50% plans. Very simple. And as I said, it's for 52 weeks. You will have to communicate with your employees about the work share. You can't just put them on the work share plan. You're going to have to communicate and say, hey, listen, we want you to come back in or we're going to lay you off. But what we want to do is to tell you that you can be on work share, so you're still going to be working. We are going to ask you a couple of questions in your application, how you notified them, because we want them to know. Because what happens is that once you create that plan, we send that employee a letter. And in that letter, it tells them what their options are to be part of the workshare program and what they'll have to do. The only thing that the employee has to do is collect their money and work. And then in that letter, it tells them how they're going to do it through direct deposit, or if you want them to get a card. The employers are flexible. It's a flexible enough program for them that their plans can be submitted during the week of or in a future week. So right now we are in this current week. And if you wanted to start workshare plan for your employees this week, you have up until Saturday to create your application and then to put in your employees and have those employees approved for that time. Usually the approval takes not more than 24 hours in doing it. And then sometimes it's immediate. Some of the exclusions are that employees cannot work more than 40 hours a week. So when it comes to that time that employee, you put that employee on a 20% plan and they're going to be working every day but Friday, but then you need them to work on Friday, then they wouldn't be eligible for workshare for that week. And so what you do is, and I'm going to get into the certification process, what you do at that time is just not certify that employee. One of the other exclusions is that the employees cannot be seasonal, temporary, or intermittent employees, which means that if you only have them, like let's say the person is a lifeguard for the summer, or if there's someone that's going to be harvesting fruit or something during the summertime, or you happen to be cutting lumber or plowing snow in the wintertime, those employees would not be eligible for workshare. The workshare benefits are taxable income, but our program does not deduct the taxes. So therefore the employees have to be able to govern themselves accordingly, because when it comes to April 2021 and they have to file their taxes, they're going to see a whole lot more income that they're going to have to report. We're going to send a 1099 and they will have to report that income and pay those taxes back. Now, I don't know if time helps. We have a short video on how how you can do that. It's about 10 minutes. Perhaps we'll go back to that video because I don't know what the time is. We'll go back to the video, but I just wanted to make sure, because people think that it's a difficult process, but it's a very easy process on doing that, but it's a step-by-step that we want to show you how to do it. Hi.
Thank you. This is Lori. We do have time and we do have some questions. Would you like to address some of those now, or would you prefer to wait towards the end?
Let's wait. Let's wait till afterwards, because this
All
is a video that we have now, and then I have some more frequently asked questions, and then I think we have people in the chat doing that. So I'll show the video. Okay.
Thanks.
That old working from home circular, trying to get things going. Please bear with me. Here we go. Okay, let's just move on because I can come back to it. But basically, it's a how-to video. But
How to apply to
here it is.
workshare. Employers can apply to participate for WorkShare. Employers can apply to participate in the WorkShare program through their MyWeb account. Go to Employers can apply for WorkShare and click on through their MyWeb. Go to michigan.gov/MyWeb and click on for employers. Then log in to MyWeb.
Hey, multiple times now.
Once in your account, be sure to click in your account. You want your WorkShare UI to have more than one account. If you have more than one account, I want to. Be sure to click the register for WorkShare.
Hold on one second.
Under I want you I want for WorkShare plans, register for WorkShare plans hyperlink. Click yes.
I've lost myself.
Review the WorkShare eligibility conditions. Agree to the
Gerald,
terms. Click
if
yes.
you can share your, if I can share the screen, I'll try to pull it up for you. If you want me to do that.
All right, thanks for hanging on, folks. Looks like we're having a few technical difficulties. As you all know, working from home has had its challenges. So we hope that you're thinking about how the WorkShare program could help you keep employees on, how you can share that financial load, and keep your employees happy right now. We know it is a tough time and very competitive. There are several questions coming up. Do I have someone from the state that could answer some of those while we're waiting for the slides to come back up?
Lori, this is Yukina. I can assist.
Okay, thank you. One of the first ones here says, if we start a WorkShare now, do we look at our employees' average weekly hours they worked in the first quarter of 2020 to determine the percentage?
What employers should do is determine how much of a reduction they need to be successful in starting up their business. So it doesn't have to be an average. It's where you are today. And if you can't start up at 100% and you think that maybe you would like to ease back into production or business, you might want to start with maybe allowing people to have 1 day off per week, or maybe even 3, and then reduce that number as your time goes on.
Okay. Next question. This one is related to WorkShare benefits are taxable income, but deductions cannot be subtracted from your weekly or bi-weekly payment. Can you explain a little more about that?
When we initiated the WorkShare program, it was decided that we would give the benefit and then count on the recipient or the claimant to, attach those benefits to their wages at the end of the year.
Okay. We have a user on the phone who's incorrectly put in a social security number of one of their employees in their application. They've gone back to look at that and they can't find a way to change that social security number for that employee. What do you suggest they do?
I suggest that they email UIA-workshare, I'm sorry, yes it is, UIA-workshare.gov. That's our email address. And we will absolutely help them get that fixed.
Perfect, thank you. Next question, does this draw from an unemployment reserve? Where do the monies come from?
Well, currently during this pandemic that we're experiencing, the federal government is picking up the tab per se.
Okay.
For our WorkShare program. So the employer has no responsibility of paying taxes on this benefit currently, and I believe it's up until the end of the year.
Okay. Next question. If someone is in the WorkShare program, how does that affect the EE premium deduction? Would the employee's full premium still be deducted from their pay through our organization, or would the deduction be reduced and the employer becomes responsible for more of the full premium?
One of the advantages to the employee regarding their fringe benefits is that their part in those benefits will not change. So whatever the employer is currently paying, they should be continuing to pay that.
Okay.
It looks like Dale might be ready.
Yeah, I'm
Back up.
I'm so-
Thank you for answering questions while we had that little technical adjustment. So we'll give it back to you, Daryl.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I guess while I was waiting, I was too impatient and I clicked it 3 times. So here we go.
How to apply for WorkShare. Employers can apply to participate in the WorkShare program through their MyWAM account. Go to michigan.gov/UIA and click on For Employers. Then log in to MyWAM for Employers. Once in your account, click UI Tax. If you have more than one account, be sure to click the account that you want your WorkShare plan on. Under I want to, click the Register for WorkShare Plans hyperlink. Review the WorkShare eligibility and agree to the terms and conditions. Click Yes, then click Next Step. Then click Submit. Input your password. Click OK. You will see a confirmation page. Click OK. Your WorkShare registration request has been submitted. You will receive a web notice indicating your eligibility. A web notice is a communication that will be sent to you through your MyWAM account. Next, you will need to answer a series of questions to determine if your proposed WorkShare plan will be approved. Back on Your Accounts page, click on View My Accounts. Then click UI Tax. Click on Manage WorkShare Plans. Then click WorkShare Plan Application. Answer the series of questions. Was your business closed or hours limited to an executive order? Governor Whitmer signed several executive orders ordering the closing of certain businesses. What was the name of the work unit to be covered by your plan? A work unit is the employees an employer selects to be covered by WorkShare. Employers are given flexibility to organize each work unit or work division they want to participate in WorkShare. How many employees work in the affected unit? There needs to be a minimum of 2 employees. Are all employees in the unit covered by the proposed WorkShare plan? What is your proposed start date of the WorkShare plan? What is your proposed end date of the WorkShare plan? Does your plan cover the entire 52-week plan period or just certain weeks? Is the WorkShare plan application an amendment for a prior WorkShare plan? What percentage of work reduction is proposed for this unit? Under WorkShare, employers can choose to reduce employee hours between 10% and 60%. Agree to the terms and conditions. Please note that your WorkShare plan may be terminated at any time. I will provide full and complete reports to the unemployment agency relating to the operation of this WorkShare plan as requested by the unemployment agency. UIA may request a report of information about your WorkShare plan, including payroll records, employee notification, union agreements, and more. I will not hire new employees in or transfer employees to the work unit covered by this plan during the effective period of the WorkShare plan. A work unit is comprised of the employees included in your WorkShare plan. Keep in mind that if you later want to bring additional employees into the unit, you must terminate the plan and create a new one. You may also create an additional WorkShare plan to add employees. I will not lay off participating employees during the effective period of the WorkShare plan. Layoffs during the term of a WorkShare agreement would void the agreement and a new plan would need to be submitted. I will not reduce participating employees' hours of work by more than the WorkShare plan reduction percentage during the effective period of the WorkShare plan. I have obtained the approval of any applicable collective bargaining unit representative and have notified all affected employees who are not in a collective bargaining unit of the proposed WorkShare plan. Estimate the number of employees who would have been fully laid off without WorkShare. If you are reopening your business, estimate the number of employees who would continue to be laid off without a work-share plan. Finally, please include how you will give notice to your employees whose hours of work will be reduced under work-share. It is the employer's responsibility to inform their employees that they have been included in a work-share plan. Visit the UIA Work-Share website at michigan.gov/workshare for a flyer which may be provided to your employees about work-share. When you've completed all of the questions, you will need to enter the names and information for all of your employees who will be included in your work-share plan. Back at the top of the screen, click Employees. You may enter each employee individually, or you can import the data for all of the employees on your work-share plan at once using a bulk file. Your bulk file will need to be created according to the specified file format. To view the specifications, click on Manage Work-Share Plans, click Work-Share Plan Application, scroll to the bottom of the page and click View Employee List. Then click File Format to view the specifications. To enter individually, enter each employee's name, social security number, address, and other identifying information. The UIA number is your account number with the state of
I think we may have lost the sound on that, Daryl. We can see the video, but no sound.
Select your file. Then click Import. Under Work-Share Employees, you will see information for each of your employees. The records can be modified prior to submission. If there is an X next to an employee record, there is an error that needs to be corrected. Click the employee record to correct the file. After your files have been imported, click Next Step. Then click Submit. Then enter your password to certify that the information you have entered is true. Click OK. You will see a confirmation page. If there are no issues, you will receive in your web notices a plan approval, which includes the date of your first certification. Your employees will also receive notice that they have been enrolled in Work-Share. In order for your employees to be paid, you will need to certify your employees' eligibility either weekly or bi-weekly. You can also update a bulk file to certify for your employees. Your bulk file will need to be created according to the specified file format. To view the specifications for bulk certification, click on Manage Work-Share Plans, click Certification. Then click File Format. To certify each employee individually, on the date you are to certify, log into your MyWim account, click UI Tax, then click Manage Work-Share Plans. Here, you will see your Work-Share plan. Click the File Certification hyperlink. Click Add an Employee. Add your employee's information. Be sure to include the certification date. Certification date 1 is the first week for which you want your employee to be paid. If you are on a bi-weekly schedule, you will also input certification date 2 to pay both weeks. Each certification week begins on a Sunday and ends on a Saturday. Certification date 1 or 2 should be the Saturday of the week for which your employees are being paid. Click on Add Employee to complete this section for each employee on plan. When you have completed certification for each employee, then click Next Step. Then click Submit. Then enter your password. Your Workshare certification request has been submitted. To import a bulk file, on the certification page, click Import. Select your file. Then click Import. Under Employees, you will see information for each of your employees. After the employees are added, then click Next Step. Then click Submit. Enter your password. Click OK. Your Workshare certification request has been submitted.
Okay, sorry for this, the technical difficulties in here, but I just wanted to go over them. I'm really sorry. There was something wrong with it. And not only that, the YouTube is being used by everybody because I guess everybody's looking at it because we're showing this several times. So one of the things that I want to go over is the certification process. Now, what's different between we have 3 different ways that employees can file claims with the state of Michigan. The traditional way in which the employees will just go ahead and file their own claims based on their layoff and receive unemployment benefits. And then every week they'll have to go in and certify that they have not received any wages during that. Then we have another way of which we call employer file claims. Employer file claims is when the employer actually goes in and files it for the employee. And this is like when the big 3 go on their shutdown periods during July and December. They do what we call employer file claims. At that time, the employee has to certify, but the employee does not file their own claims because that way the employer can keep track of the people that they're laid off. Workshare is a bit different from those other ways because not only does the employer actually sign up for the benefits for the employer also is the one that goes and certifies that they are certifying that, yes, I only paid the employee, or the employee only worked the specific hours that they signed up in the plan. 20% is actually 1 day, 60% is 3 days. So this is what we're speaking of when we were talking about certification. So as you see on there, when you go into there, all you do is hit the certification chart button, and then you just follow directions for that. And then also what we didn't speak of, and I was telling you about, is a termination of the plan. Anytime within the 52 weeks, you can terminate a plan because you feel that the person is working 20 hours, but you don't, 20 hours a week as opposed to 40 hours a week, and you need them a little more. So you want to change the plan. What you do is you can't change the plan once it's approved. What you have to do is you have to go in, terminate the plan, and just start another plan for the next week. Remember, everybody in that plan must receive the same thing and must be treated the same during that plan. An employee cannot have more than 1 active UI claim. That's very important too, that we say that. So if an employee is coming off a layoff and going into the Workshare, they have to discontinue their previous claim. Now, here's a little thing about the payment protection program. This is not a UI program, but it works in harmony with it. So you have to keep in mind that employers that are part of the PPP, which is the Payment Protection Program, can still participate in Workshare, but the program design needs to be considered when the goal of PPP is forgiveness of the loans. What we have a lot of employers are attempting to do or have done is like they put the employees on Workshare and then they were approved with the PPP program. They're like, oh, wow, we can pay them. So you go back and want to pay the employees the missed wages before, or even the unemployment. You can't really do that because what happens is that then the employee will be receiving double payments. They will be receiving their payment for the work for the employer, and they will be receiving the unemployment, and you can't do that. So that's something that's important to know. The Paycheck Protection Program recipients should review their PPP application as they structure their work share plans to make sure that they do not conflict. 75% of PPP loan amount must be used for payroll costs to be eligible for the forgiveness. And so that, as you can see right there, that may bump heads with the work-share program. Loan forgiveness will be reduced if salaries and decrease salaries and wages by more than 25% for any employee that made less than $100,000 annualized in 2019. And employers until June the 30th, 2020 to restore full-time employment and salary levels for any changes made between February 15th and April 20th. You'll learn that when you have your seminar. I overheard that she was going to have tomorrow, and you'll know more about that, but we just need to keep that in mind when you're going to be using the work share. Now here's an example of a manufacturer who's considering to restart their business. They know they're experiencing loss of revenue for the next 12 weeks. But still want to reopen their operations. So let's say you have 100 employees and all of them were previously laid off for work share. If the employer wants to bring them back, what they want to do is they'd say, I want to bring them back at 70% capacity, which is really 2.5 days or something like that. I always look at it for days, and a lot of people say, oh, that's confusing, but it's the days of work, that's what it is. So you want to bring them back for 2.5 days. So you're going to put them on a work share plan, which is 30%, which means that they're going to take a day and a half off during that week. So each of them will make $1,000 a week. So under the work share plan, the employee is retained to work 30%, which is that day and a half, and with the reduction of the wages and the salary. So their salary will be $700 per week, which is what the employer is going to give them. The 30% is going to be 30% of their actual work share benefit. If they make over $35,000 a year, then they will be getting $362. So you're going to take 30% of that $362, and they will be getting those for that day and a half that they're going to be working. But most of all, and the benefit of all of this is the fact they're also going to get that $600 federal FPUC money, the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation money. And therefore, under the work share, the employee would be making more than $14,000 a week versus just the $962 if they were on regular unemployment. The regular unemployment would be the $362 plus the $600 money. So as you can see on the other side, through July 20th, that employee on work share will be getting a check, not a check, but will be getting $1,408 for that week. Whereas opposed to being on full employment, they will be getting $962. So that's a good incentive to explain to your employees, hey, listen, when you need them to come back to work, this is what we're going to give you. They will be getting more money. Now, these are just some of the things here in the next that I've already spoke of. In the work share, these are how the CARES Act and executive order have changed. Previously, it was the parameters were 15 to 45%, and she's extended it for 10 to 60%. They have waived the length of the time that is required for the businesses to be employed, for the employer to be in business, I should say. And in that, what happens is that it used to be 12 quarters or 3 years. Now, the employer could just start business within the last year or the last few months, and they'd be eligible for to use work share. The employees do not have to be current on their unemployment taxes. We know that the times are hard for some of them. They have not been able to pay their quarterly tax, and they may be in arrears in that. That's okay. You're still eligible for the work share program. If you have a negative reserve, a lot of times what happens is when you pay into the fund, but you've laid off more money than you've paid into the fund, we would have not ordinarily told you that you could not be participate in the program. We've waived that too. You can now use regular part-time employees in the plan, and the participants receive as I said, that $600 FPUC money through July. We want to keep explaining that. I heard one of the questions during the time that I was having technical difficulties. Here's that question answered right there. Remember, Workshare is 100% federally funded through December 20th. So as long as you have an employee that's working for you and you have them under a Workshare plan, even if it's only 10%, which means 4 hours a week, that money that's going to the Workshare plan is going to come from the federal government and will not come from your reserve. Your quarterly wage percentage will not rise, and you will be able to continue with the Workshare plan under those circumstances to the end of the year. The governor has done this. I think it's an excellent way of her showing that she wants to keep the Michigan businesses running and going at full speed and giving them everything that they can and need in order to thrive during these unsure times. So in conclusion, Workshare is a great option for employers who need to bring back their employees at a reduced capacity. It also allows the companies to re-engage their workforce and ramp up their business at a schedule that works for them. And also remember that, again, if I have not said it 15 times in this presentation, you get that extra CARES Act money, which is that $600 to the employees, so that they will have another incentive to come back to work. Now, we have some frequently asked questions for the employers that we thought that we want to share that probably were not addressed in the presentation. If an employer chooses Workshare, must he or she use their entire business, use it for entire business? No. You can have a Workshare plan for 50 of your employees, and then you can have two plans. 25 of them can be on a 20% reduction. The other one can be on 60% reduction. And then the other 50 cannot be on layoff as well. It should be regular employees, not on the plan as well. But remember that any person that's in a plan cannot be laid off. They can be not certified during those weeks, but you cannot lay off anybody within a plan. The employee can quit and not work anymore that's in a plan, but you cannot lay them off. And that goes into the next question. Can I lay off some of the workers participating in the Workshare plan and to continue the plan? And the answer is no, you can't do that. Sometimes I'm ahead of myself in these questions. Not every employee within the affected union is a union member. Can you still use them in a Workshare plan? Yes, you can have union and non-union people in one plan. It's based on how you want to do it and no one else. Can a union representative request a modification or termination of the Workshare plan? No, they cannot. This is up to the employer. The employer can make the decisions and the plans how they deem necessary and how they want their business to work. What do I do if my employer has been approved for Workshare? This is from an employee question. So your employer will provide you, the employee, with the information regarding participation in Workshare. That's going to be the employer's prerogative to do that. We, the unemployment agency, will send a form 1054, and it's going to come to the employee. It's going to tell them their weekly benefit amount while participating in Workshare. It's going to tell them the weeks of eligibility that they're going to be on there, and it's going to start the beginning and the end date to let them know that. It's also going to give them the option to call a telephone number, which is an automated number. You don't have to wait for someone to answer, and it's going to let them know if whether or not they want to get a regular card in the mail. That's the default. You will get a card in the mail with your unemployment benefits on there. But if you want to have direct deposit, you will dial that number, and it will give you the information that you need on how to do that. And you can just simply let the money go into your account. When will I receive my weekly Workshare amount? After UIA notifies the employer of the eligibility, or you, the employee, of their eligibility for their Workshare benefits, your employer will submit the information on your behalf. If you have any questions regarding that, you need to contact the employer. But however, the checks usually will, not the checks, the money will usually be given after the employer certifies the first week. How will I receive my weekly Workshare amount? Again, I explained that before. If you dial this number, you can make a determination of whether or not you want to be direct deposited into your account, or if you want to get a Bank of America debit card. It can be either one of those. The debit card is the default. I forgot my personal identification number. Can you help? That is one of the most common questions. And one of the reasons why is because employees are probably combining some of their accounts. When you are, and I mentioned it earlier, when you have a previous unemployment account and you have a claim number for that, that claim number needs to end while the work-share claim begins. You cannot certify the previous account because what happens is that our data and our information shows that you have two claims and you can't do that, and it will throw everything out, and even fraud will be suspected in that. So therefore, you can't do that. But if you need to have your personal identification number changed, then you can dial this number, but that's only for your previous account. We ask that you not do that for your current work-share account, because remember, the employer is going to be handling all that business for you. Can the employee protest the work-share claim or benefit amount? That information is given on the 1054, but it cannot be protested. This is something that the employer is going to do for you. If the employer does, if you do not want to be on the work-share plan, you need to discuss that with the employer, and they will govern. You can figure that out on your own if whether or not you want to continue work for the company. But I don't see why you wouldn't, because this is such an excellent program. Another question from the employee: I was receiving a standard UI claim and I was recalled back to work and told that my employer was having me participate in work-share. Do I continue to certify? And the answer is that it's imperative that you do not. I have addressed that before. We do not want you to do that, because what happens is that the system sees that you have two claims, and that will throw everything off and will cause delay in you receiving your work-share benefits. Can I work for another employer while participating in work-share plan? Yes, this is a very, 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 very important question. And here's the answer. You can, however, if the other employment and work hours are more than what is on your work-share employer, it is possible that your weekly UI amount would be affected. So here's an example. If you reduced your work hours by 10 hours on your work-share employer, and then you go to another company and you work 12 hours with a different company, you will not receive benefits for that week, because as you can see, according to just the state plan, you have worked during that week 42 hours, and that's too many hours, so therefore you will not be eligible for work-share that week. You must report the number of hours to your employer to let them know that, hey, listen, I work for another company and I work more hours. And if you work more hours, you will not be eligible for unemployment. And not only that, you won't get that $600 for that week. So that's important that employees know that. If anybody else wants any questions, we can talk to with the time that we have remaining, we can do that. But also, if you send an email to the UIA workshare at michigan.gov line, we usually handle those questions immediately. We have people on there. Or you can contact our ombudsman office. I think our ombudsman is the one that was on answering many of the questions previously. And these are the numbers for that. Also, if you go to www.michigan.gov/workshare, this PowerPoint presentation, there's a toolkit, there is the videos that are on there. All of that other information is on there. We have fact sheets, we have all the information that you need for workshare. But if you still want to, you can send an email or you can call one of us and we'd be happy to help.
Thank you so much for all this great information. We do appreciate it. I do see several questions coming in. Thank you. I know those of you that are answering the questions online with me. Some of these may have been covered. I'll throw them out. First one is, how is commission-based employees? How do you figure commission-based employees, Daryl? How do you calculate that?
Right, so that is calculated just the same way. If you have a commission-based employee and you want that employee, and that employee takes that day off, then the employee does not make commission on that day. You simply put their work share in, saying that that employee worked for you for 4 days out of the week, 3 days out of the week, and those other days are days of which they will receive their work share. So it's no difference. It's just the hours worked.
Okay, great. Next question relates to hiring someone right out of college. This person would like to hire a new grad in a full-time work during the shutdown. Can this program be used since the student had not been previously employed?
Oh, you know, That's one of the best questions that I've gotten yet. And one of the executive orders, I think that the governor has, she waived that, which means that I believe that person will be. Yukima, if you can, I think our system has been updated for that. But yes, that is an option for that person, because it says previously that the person has to be eligible for unemployment because they have to have previous wages in there. But I think in the work-share program, that is different. Yukima, is that correct?
Daryl, let's research that. From past experience, you must, the ability to apply for unemployment benefit, unemployment account must still be there.
Yeah, right. And what Yukima is saying is correct. However, I think one of the latest executive orders I can think within the last week are addressing that. I don't know if it's that specific one. So if we can we get that question and get back with you so that we can make sure that that we vet that out? Because one of the things was that because we know that colleges are out, people are going into new employment, we wanted to make sure that work-share covered as many people as possible. And I want to check that out for sure. So that's an excellent question. Let us vet it out.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, if you could circle back with that and any slides that you'd like us to post as well. Next one, if my certification date for my employees is on a Sunday, can I certify on the Friday before or do the Monday after? How do you do that?
Yukima, help. I think what happens is that the certification, it's going to tell you when the certification comes. I don't know if it's during the week or the week after. Yukima, what is that?
Your certification date is always going to end on a Saturday.
Okay. So that Friday before, probably. Is that what you're saying?
Well, currently, the way our system is set up, if you have been approved on a Wednesday, you can certify for that week. I'm just throwing Wednesday out there. You can certify for the week in which you've been approved.
Okay.
But after that, you have to, your certification dates will always be on a Saturday.
Okay. We had a question about holiday pay, and I think you told us that vacation pay could not be, a vacation day could not be a part of this program. Is that the same for holiday pay, like this Monday?
Oh, okay, wait, because I want to make sure that I make that clear. That's a good question. If the employer pays for paid annual leave or vacation day, if they pay for a holiday, then they have to continue paying that employee for that day. So for instance, let's say you're on a 20% plan and Memorial Day is coming up. The person, you will pay that person for the day's work, which are those 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They will be paid for their vacation day of which they didn't work, but that is what you usually do. So you'd have to pay them for that. And then they will have their benefit day that Friday. Perfect. Which means that they will be unemployed. So you cannot change that. If the person decided to take the 3 days, they wanted to take the week off, then however you would do it, you would give them that vacation day. They would take the 32 hours of the holiday would be the one day. They would take 32, I mean, not 30, what is it? 8, 16, 24 hours of vacation time. And then you would give them that last day, which would be their benefit day, and they'd have the entire week off. But you cannot change anything if they're on a work-share plan.
Great, good, good. Next one is, what if my employees are not working 40 hours in a week now? Can we still do this? Excellent
question. And yes, if your full-time employee happens to be 25 hours, because let's say you have a bistro on the weekend and you're only open during breakfast and lunch during the weekends, and if that's your full-time, then that's your full-time. You would just subtract the 20% or whatever percentage plan you are from that, and then you just cover themselves accordingly for that.
Great, great, excellent.
It just can't be more than 40 hours a week.
Okay, good. And Daryl, could you put that last slide back up for our viewers that might have questions, that want to follow up later? You had 2 contact names and emails. Is that possible? Put that last slide up for further questions on this subject.
So, you know, I have to tell you, I'm a Zoomer, but I'm a Zoomer on my personal one. We use Microsoft Teams, so it takes me a little time to try to find the buttons on here. So that's why I'm having all the problems.
No problem. I just thought, as our parting before we part today, we're about at the top of the hour. If you could just list that for further questions that might come in on this subject. So again, we appreciate you sharing this. I know we've pushed out some of your other training to our members, and here it is. Daryl is providing us the address of Michigan.gov, the Workshare, and the Office of Employer Ombudsman, which manages this Workshare program. So thank you for bringing this to us today. Please do follow up to answer the one question, anything else you might have. We know this is an evergreen program, new program, and I'm sure there's new questions coming at you daily, but we appreciate you working on it as we get all these things figured out. I think it's a nice option for our businesses to have. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Yukimo, for answering the questions, and thank you for Denise for putting this together. So everyone, you have a great day. We'll put this recording on the website later today. All right, thanks now.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.